Do you know how hard of a pill it is to swallow, to realize that you are the toxic person in a relationship or in a friendship? I don't know where we misconstrued soft life with things being handed to you, okay? It's the entitlement for me, okay? We might as well call this the entitlement era. People just waiting for managers to come down from heaven. It can be so lonely living a soft life because not everybody has started or is even willing to start that journey. I did the opposite thing that other people would do because not everyone is going to be brave enough to put themselves out there like that. It's not all the time that you are a victim in a situation. Sometimes you are actually the villain. Hi lovelies, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, and that's soft life, and not how to live a soft life, because been there, done that, okay? We're going to be going completely left field and talking about the cost of living a soft life. Like, are we ready to have this conversation? Okay, ready or not, I'm about to ruffle some feathers, okay? I'm about to trigger some people, because are you not tired of always saying that you want to leave the rat race and you plan to start that business and maybe start a YouTube channel and start a side hustle so you can finally live the life that you deserve, but you've done nothing about it? Are you not tired of saying that you want a stress-free life, you want a life of ease, and you want to be at peace, but you're constantly doing the same thing and being around the same people who make you feel stressed? Listen, I completely get it. I spent a lot of time dreaming and envisioning my dream life where I was content and living a comfortable life and being in a position to look after my family and loved ones and actually helping other people and having the freedom to do what I want when I wanted without the constraints of working a 9-to-5 job, or better yet, not even having the money to do the things that I wanted. But did I do the things to make my dreams come true? No. Okay, I don't know where we misconstrued soft life with things being handed to you, okay? It's the entitlement for me, okay? We might as well call this the entitlement era. People just waiting for managers to come down from heaven. There is a cost to that soft life. Life is transactional. If you want something, you need to give something. So that means you have to pay to have that soft life. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. If you're new, hello, welcome. My name is Laurie and my channel is Laurie, and I like to call myself your self-care soul sister. So subscribe to the channel and join our soft living space. It's funny because I wasn't actually going to be filming this video today. I was planning on filming how to glow up financially. I might actually film that after this, so stay tuned for that. But as most of you might know, Laurie, Harvey and Demi Idris announced that they're now in a relationship, and of course, because it's Laurie Harvey, a lot of people have something to say about that. But it was interesting because some of the comments that I was seeing from women just validated to me why some women are still stuck and stagnant and not living the life that they crave because of their mindset. And some of the comments were, well, of course she's gonna get a man like Demi Idris because she's pretty and she's beautiful. Of course she's gonna get this kind of high quality man because, you know, she's a nepotism baby and her dad is Steve Harvey. And this really took me back to a place where I had similar beliefs, and this greatly hindered my mindset and the course of my life, where I had thoughts like, well, of course she's gonna have a higher following on YouTube or Instagram because she's beautiful and she's light skinned, and well, of course she's living this luxury and extravagant lifestyle because she's, you know, you get the picture, right? And this by no means is me taking away from people's success and talents and all the other qualities, but is pretty privilege a thing? Yes. Is colorism a thing? Yes. Is bodyism, is that even a word? But is bodyism a thing? Yes. But who cares? Life is unfair. Life has been unfair, okay? But what does their privilege have to do with me, okay? If we were to stand in front of a fence, okay, we will all have different heights and we would all either be able to see or not see over the fence because we have different privileges. Life is not fair, and understanding this really helped me remove that displacement of blame that I used to to have on why I didn't have a certain life and why I couldn't attain certain things by saying, well, they have this because they have that privilege. It is their privilege and it is their prerogative to utilize that privilege. It would be absolutely stupid for a woman who is drop dead gorgeous to not use that to their advantage. Even if I don't have that quality, I still have a privilege, and it's in shifting that mindset that I have my own privileges. I have things that only I possess, that only I can have, that I can use to my advantage to be able to create the life that I want. So the cost of having a soft life is removing that displacement. If your first thought when you see somebody who has something is, well, they only have this because of ... that's you subconsciously displacing blame on why you don't have that, okay? That the reason why you can't live a life of ease is because you are lacking something, is because you don't have something. So instead of having a lack mindset and focusing on what you don't have, actually focus on what you do have and use that to your advantage, because everybody has a privilege and not everybody has the same privilege. Not everybody is the same. We're all unique. We're all completely different. It's time to figure out what your uniqueness is. It's time to figure out what your privilege is. And the thing about your privileges, oh God, privileges, is that it's always things that you take for granted. For me, for example, I'm intelligent, I'm a quick learner, and I grasp things so quickly. So throughout my education, you know, I always used to get good grades, and I never tried that hard, okay? Because if I actually really did try, I could have actually gone into medicine, which was my mom's dream for me to go into medicine, but that was not for me, child, okay? And my other privileges is that I've got a curvy body, which again, I used to take for granted because I would just be like, well, you know, it's just a curvy body. A lot of people have this body, not to realize that there's a lot of people out there who are going through lengths, okay, to acquire this curvy body. So using those privileges to my advantage has not only boosted my confidence for me to actually realize that I have a set of privileges, also gave me the confidence to be able to enter this creative space where I can inspire people, where I can motivate people and educate people, all because I've removed that displacement, okay, of why my life wasn't going a certain way, and found and highlighted my privileges and started using them to my advantage. One of the highest costs of living a soft life is realizing that you are the problem. Realizing that the reason why you're not living the life that you want is mainly because of you. I used to have a victim mindset that men always leave and, you know, people always let me down. People never come through for me. Nothing ever works and my channel is never growing. And literally, I was that friend who always used to be complaining about something. You know, everything is going wrong. Do you know how hard of a pill it is to swallow, to realize that you are the toxic person in a relationship or in a friendship? That I was too focused on the end result, putting pressure on myself, burning myself out, and then I would have to stop and then start over again, and I'm not enjoying what I'm doing, and I completely forget why I'm doing what I'm doing. So no wonder why it would fail and not work out, because I am not walking within my purpose. I am not just being, I am just being too task driven, okay, and doing things for the wrong reasons. It wasn't until I started therapy that I started unraveling all these layers to myself and understanding all these toxic traits that I didn't even realize that I had. Therapy, you guys, is one of the best investments that I've ever made. And talking about cost, okay, it ain't cheap. Okay, we ain't gonna lie, but the return in investment that you get with therapy, I'm sorry, you're not gonna get that elsewhere. You could journal, okay, you could reflect, but the mirror that is put in front of your face in therapy is something that you won't find by yourself when you're journaling or reflecting. So that is a practical cost that I had to pay for me to live a soft life, because that's actually how I identified that I possessed these toxic traits. So I could then sit back and reflect on my relationships, or my friendships, or the ventures, or everything that I've ever started and stopped, and actually understanding that the reason why there might have been, you know, communication breakdown, or maybe I didn't see that thing, or I looked past that thing, is because of my own toxic traits, and understanding where those came from, because we all have a story, we all have a childhood, we all have trauma that impact how we go through life, how we experience life, how we interact with other people, how we deal with certain situations, okay, whether we're going to go for something or not go something, how we react in certain situations, and actually realizing that sometimes you are the problem, and removing yourself from that victim mentality, that you're not always the victim in this situation. Every single time that you are pointing the finger at somebody or a situation, you have, what is that, 1 2 3 3 fingers pointing back at you. So sometimes you are the villain, and you need to accept that, and you can then leave that old self behind, okay, and rebirth a much more healthier version of you, okay, that takes accountability and responsibility of their own life, and is not displacing blame on other people and playing victim. Because most of the time you're crying wolf, okay, because people will be looking at you thinking, oh my gosh, here she go again, okay, complaining about the same thing over and over again, okay, when she is the problem, and what is she going to do about it? Sometimes people don't have the courage, okay, or don't feel like it's their place for them to be honest with you, to be like, Lorraine, sis, you need to work on your communication, you need to work on your anger, you actually need to put in the work and rescue yourself. No one's gonna come and do this for you. Some people don't have the courage to do that. You need to do the work yourself internally, okay? Identify all these blocks, all these barriers that might be coming from within, okay, that are obstructing you from going where you want to be, or being in the position that you want to be. Okay, the next cost of living a soft life is loneliness. When you live a soft life, you are doing the work to create that peace within yourself and maintain it around you. That it can be lonely because not everyone is on that same journey. If you go to therapy and you do your inner work and your shadow work, and you know, identify your toxic traits and you work on them, you're not going to want to be around toxicity. So I have this friend who every time we met up, we would be complaining about our lives, about how we wanted bigger houses and we weren't happy with our 9-to-5s, wanted to be flying out all the time, and just how we weren't living the life that we were supposed to be doing. But we were just focusing on the problem constantly, just moaning and complaining, and not actually talking about what we can actually do to change our circumstances so we can have this life and do these things that we want to do. And fast forward to me starting my healing journey, going to therapy and implementing daily habits to create that dream soft life that I want for myself. Now, every single time that we would then meet up and she would start that pattern of complaining about things are not going right, this, that, and the other, I could immediately spot that this was the victim mindset that was talking. And even if I would try to be like, why don't you do this, or even try to put it to her to be like, what could you do instead of what you're doing now so that you can get all these things, it just seems that there was just some block. Like she just wasn't comprehending, like, okay, Lorraine, what's going on here? Where's that back and forwards? Okay, because she was so used to us having that negativity badminton or tennis match, okay, because misery sometimes unfortunately does love company. company, so she wouldn't know how to respond or act in that situation because she's still in that victim mindset and she hasn't yet started her healing journey. So she's not counteracting those negative thoughts that she's having, because essentially it's those negative feelings, okay, that are sitting heavy on us, which are impacting our behavior. So what can I do for me to create positive emotions so that I can create positive behavior? But because we were no longer in alignment, it just became so difficult to be around somebody, you know, with a victim mindset. So that's why it can be so lonely living a soft life, because not everybody has started or is even willing to start that journey, okay? And even if they are, you might be at different levels of your journey, which might still have an impact on your peace, which for me is the most important thing, okay? Peace of mind. When I'm at peace, I am my best self. So that's sometimes a cost that I have to pay to live a soft life, to distance myself from people who are not in the same place as me. The next cost of living a soft life is doing the opposite of what everybody is doing, because not everybody is willing, has the strength and the resilience to do what it takes to live the life that they want. It's interesting because the reason why a lot of us women resonate with the soft life culture is because we are tired, okay, of working hard. Not just working hard, of working 2, 3, 4 times as hard, okay, for minimal to less impact. So in order for you to live a soft life, you actually need to do the opposite. It's time to change things up, okay? If you are doing the same thing over and over for years and you're not getting the result that you wanted, it's time to actually take a leap of faith and to bet on yourself. This is something that I'm constantly pushing myself to do, to go against the grain. I've recently started a Becoming Her challenge. Not that doing challenges is something new and nobody does challenges, but doing something that you've never done before, that I've never done before, you know, that's uncomfortable, that's scary. And even if I have that niggling self-doubt and that negative voice in my mind saying, who's even going to take part, you know, who's is going to benefit, are people going to find value in it, I was still obedient to that strong feeling and calling that this is something that I had to do. I was still obedient to the word of God, who said, your word for this year is evolution. You know how scary it is to go against the grain and do something new that's not familiar to you? That's the most terrifying thing that you can do, but you need to be brave enough to stand out like a sore thumb with the potential of people judging you, because you're delusional that you're going to reach that destination you have set out to go, and you're going to live that life that you want to live, because you're delusional and not focusing on the how, but having faith that you're going to get there. Even if you don't necessarily know how you're going to get there, you start doing the opposite thing to what you used to do. You start doing the opposite thing to what other people do, being brave and being delusional. And this is something that I actually done in 2019 when I actually started this channel. I didn't even know exactly what I wanted to do and what direction I was going to take the channel, but what I knew was I wanted to create. Like, I had a voice and I wanted to share. I didn't know what I was going to share. I just started. I was just so delusional that I was just gonna blow and just I was gonna make it. I didn't know how. I didn't have a clue about YouTube and content creating, but that delusion and that faith that I was gonna make it kept me consistent. It kept me going. But somehow I lost that along the way when my mom passed, because I lost faith. I lost faith in God, because I thought, how can they be a God? Like, why would God, you know, allow or take my mom away? Like, one of the most nicest, purest souls on earth. And it was a long journey for me to get that faith back, but it's within that faith that, for me anyway, that I acquire that delusion. For you to do the opposite thing and go the opposite direction than everybody else, there needs to be a flare of delusion to you, okay? That you were going to buy that house that you want to buy, that you were going to start that business and it's going to be successful, whatever it is that you want to do so you can live that soft life. You need to believe with the utmost faith and delusion that you're gonna make it, so that you have the strength, the courage to go against the grain and do the opposite thing that everybody else is doing. I want to know what you're willing to pay to live a soft life, and also what other costs there are to live a soft life that I didn't mention in today's video. If you come all this way, thank you so much, but do not click off on this video without liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and also make sure you watch this video that YouTube is recommending, because I'm sure you're gonna love it. I'm gonna see you in my next video. Bye, lovelies.